What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another new alternate universe video. Now, I wanted to do this video like you could say yesterday, but I was like too high as a clout. I was higher than a cloud, so yeah, I just can't get no videos done. But I'm gonna try to get some videos done like today or in this morning, you could say, because what time is it? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning for me in Boston. So I'm gonna try to like get these 3 videos done because I ate like 2 more edibles and I might get higher than clout again, and I'm gonna do a live stream talking about the videos I'm gonna do next. But other than that, yeah, this gonna be a new what if. I'm gonna do it for two, different animes for My Hero Academia and also Naruto. So Naruto is gonna be first. So this is gonna be the first video. This is gonna be what if Naruto was Cipher from Final Fantasy. Now I know what y'all talking. I know what y'all gonna think. Oh, Cipher. I don't like. Why are you doing Final Fantasy 15 characters and stuff? Well, I did play Final Fantasy not the last Final Fantasy. There's like a new Final Fantasy coming out soon. Not soon, but you could say a new Final Fantasy is coming out and a remake of one. But this is pretty much basically gonna be Cipher, and plus they put Cipher in Smash, so I wanted to give him a good respect because Cipher is pretty broken in his own way. Like, I'm not talking about like broken. I'm talking about he can create a big giant ass meteor, or you could say a star meteor that creates a supernova and wipes out every single planet. That's how powerful he is. But anyways, let's continue. Yeah, this is basically gonna be what if Naruto was Cipher. Now, how we're gonna do this? Basically, we're gonna just start off with everything pretty much happening as the same, but we're gonna have Kushina alive in this. Yeah, Kushina alive in this. So basically, Kushina is alive in this, and we're gonna say due to the Ninetales attack, we're gonna say the eco thing, a meteor hit, was basically coming down, and this is you could say unplanned, unplanned. So this is where actually, yeah, basically, cause she's not gonna be alive, but I'm basically just gonna do it in a different way. Basically, the Ninetales attack still happened, but basically, I'm gonna say the meteor hits in, and this is, you could say, ether, meteor that had two meteors came down, and one was the Genova thing, and the other one was the meteor of the ether thing. Because I want him to pretty much have both of them, just to make him even more busted. But pretty much, this is where the meteor hit the Ninetales in the back, which Chroma's healing up, but the second meteor comes down, and I don't know what you're thinking. Damn, like, damn, this sounds bad. Like, it sounds like the Leaf Village just got completely bamboozled and fucked. Yeah, well, yeah, the Leaf Village just got bamboozled and fucked. Actually, it's quite worse, and because since the two meteors hit the leaf, half of the villagers that was in the leaf pretty much is dead. So yeah, it's gonna be the Leaf Village is gonna be like a lot worse as usual. But it will have some benefits if you want me to tell you about. But pretty much this is where uh the Genova and also the ether thing pretty much pretty much is diving into the planet and pretty much you could say fusing in together. Well, the Genova is dying because you could say the ether is killing the Genova and the thing. But let me stop. Basically, they're killing each other. Both meteors are killing each other. But pretty much the other one fulfilled and defeats the other one. And that one is the ether one, which the ether will basically be an energy source for certain things. If who knows how to harness it, which Orochimaru will be one of those scientists. Now, this is where this Leaf Village is completely fucked up. The Ninetales is damaged, so it can't really do anything because it got hit by like two meteors, and also the Leaf Village got hit in the process. So some of the clans did lost a lot of members, so it will be short members of clans. But it's all right. The Uchihas, they're fine. They're fine. I mean, yeah, they're fine. Yeah, pretty much. But pretty much after that, I'll say I'll say this is where Minato is like, well, on his knees, pretty much saying, "No, the Leaf Village," and he pretty much sees that the Leaf Village is completely bamboozled and fucked. And the Ninetales is completely, you could say, like, I'm gonna say how bad the Ninetales is injured. He's up to the point he's injured as half of his like ears are like hurt or like pretty much cut off and stuff. Like he's like really injured. This is where Minato took this opportunity to hurry up and seal the Ninetales into Naruto. So yeah, Naruto will get the Ninetales, but I'll say Kushina and Minato dies at the process because Kushina can't survive because of the chocolate thing. But this is where Donzo, actually no, mm, well, yeah, this is where Donzo comes in and he pretty much takes Naruto secretly while no one's not noticing, and this is where Donzo takes Naruto to Orochimaru. Now, actually, yeah, we're gonna say a year go by, and Naruto's pretty much in the tube. One in the tube, yeah, not being born, because I'm gonna say Orochimaru has that stuff that can prevent you from aging or anything and just keep you in a castle. So yeah, Naruto's in the thing. He haven't like evolved or he was in the thing. Well, he is growing, but in a slow rate because Orochimaru is doing that. Now, this is where Donzo pretty much, takes some of the ether, and also the Genova thing. Well, no, this is where he takes the Genova, not the ether. He takes the Genova that the leaf had, which I'm gonna say is the Genova is that woman thing, but he pretty much just, took the body of the Genova and it pretty much brings it to Orochimaru. Orochimaru is excited, saying, you have your soldier ready," which this is where Orochimaru is, smiling because, Danzo and Orochimaru are working together. And Danzo won the perfect super soldier, which he's going to get. So pretty much after Orochimaru does his experimenting and all that stuff, and pretty much is, pumping Naruto with the Genova thing. Um, this is where Naruto will be born, and he will be born like a, well, you could say he'll be re-raking, but he'll be re-raking, and pretty much this is where I'm gonna say Hiruzen pretty much had a hunch that Donzo was doing some fuckery, and pretty much sends out had a couple of Uchihas that was loyal to the Leaf, which is Itachi and Shisui. Yeah, yeah, Itachi and Shisui. So this is where you could say Itachi and Shisui is following a hunch on where Donzo could possibly be, and they found out that Donzo's working with Orochimaru, so they pretty much follow him. And this is where Orochimaru is finally complete with the whole things and stuff. And this is where I guess, I guess this is where I guess we can say, hmm, yeah, I guess this is where you can say Itachi and Shisui just comes in and basically fuck up Donzo. Well, pretty much get Donzo in a bamboozle. And Donzo's saying, huh, look like I'm getting out of here. And he pretty much gets out of there. And Naruto's still in the tube thing, which Orochimaru pretty much is, pretty much, gets out of there too. But he pretty much have the facility to pretty much get, I guess you could say, broken down and stuff. But yeah, pretty much the facility is about to explode and stuff, and they pretty much get Naruto and get out of there. Now Naruto pretty much is opening up his eyes and trying to figure out where the hell is he, and he starts looking around, which Itachi is just really basically calms him down because Naruto doesn't know what the hell is going on and basically who is he? He doesn't even know his name. So this is where um like Shisui thinks about, like, because Naruto doesn't look like Minato or Kushina because he was pumped with the Genova thing. So they like Shisui doesn't know what to really call him, and this is where like Itachi says, let's just call him Naruto, which this is where Naruto takes a liking to it. He says, I like that name, which he pretty much smiles, which Itachi and Shisui is happy. Now, is smiling too. Now, this is where they take him back to Hiruzen. And Hiruzen, you know, looks at him and says that he was from the lab, from Orochimaru's lab. And pretty much, this is where Hiruzen looks at him and says that we're going to take him into the leaf, you could say. Now, this is where we're going to do a time skip. And I guess we're going to, well, we don't have to have anything serious happen. We can just make Naruto 18 and then do like all the tuning exams and stuff. So we're gonna just do that, but we're just going to put a hold on like any important events and basically talk about Naruto and what his journey is. Basically getting him up to 18 and what he'd be doing. So basically we just start off with Naruto, well, as like 5 years old, pretty much is training. And I'm just gonna say he been brought in from the Uchiha. He's not a Uchiha because he doesn't have a Sharingan, but he does have the strength. You could say he has the physical strength and stuff, and he has the power. And plus, no one didn't accept him in because all other clans are just, you know, doing their own stuff, and they're trying to find people to be suitable to repopulate. So yeah, and also, um, Fugaku clan Uchihas, they really didn't get fucked up. They can actually do a Kuteka if they wanted to, but they're not. They're not because they really didn't lose any of their position, and they're still, police officers. Even though Donzo said something, but the elders didn't give a fuck what he said. So the Uchihas are perfectly fine. So everything is still stable. But let's go back. Uh, this is where Naruto is basically training for these years, not doing anything but training, and he's pretty much training and becoming a strong ninja under the Uchihas, and pretty much the Uchihas are training him and stuff. And Naruto uses a katana, but he realized that this is a katana that is not really. He doesn't like this. It's like too short, and he feels like it's too short. This is where uh, Naruto been introduced to missions because I'm just gonna say, like, even though he's 5, Hiruzen is a little bit more different in this since his wife died, and he doesn't have no one really to blame. Well, he's just angry at the world. You could say he's an angry old man. But basically, Hiruzen doesn't really care about Naruto because he doesn't know who Naruto really is and that he's Minato and Kushina's son. So basically, he really doesn't care for the kid. But but he basically just told the Uchihas they can do whatever they want with him. So Naruto been going on like very dangerous missions and stuff and been constantly doing his training. So Naruto, basically 5 year old, does a lot of missions, dangerous missions and stuff. Like he's getting a lot of experience. This is where one time, the same as will happen. I know what y'all thinking. A 5 year old Naruto basically doing dangerous missions and stuff. Yes, Naruto's not getting a break. He's basically getting some top heavy training. He ain't doing dangerous missions. That's how intense the training is. But pretty much, we're just gonna go back and pretty much Naruto sees Hinata getting bullied, and he pretty much helps out Hinata as original canon, but he doesn't like really get to know her or anything. He just basically, says that, well, she basically says thank you, and Naruto says you're welcome, and basically goes off. And his hair is getting long, and his hair is gonna be long like Cipher, so he's gonna have like that hairstyle and Cipher's outfit. But to continue, we're just gonna continue. Pretty much, we're gonna have a time skip, and we're gonna have 10-year Naruto. Now Naruto's still doing his training and stuff, and this is where he goes and look for a blacksmith, which in town, since the town is a little bit more different now, and the people are really under a depression and stuff, because they have to, like, ninjas now, like all ninjas have to be on standby, protecting the leaf, watching over, because as they're doing upgrades and repairs and stuff. Also, a lot of other ninjas have to do missions, so there's not really ninjas walking around or like protecting burglaries or robberies and stuff, or watching over shops and trying to see if a shop is really stable and stuff. Yeah, it's just a whole depression. And these ninjas are on standby doing missions and stuff, like mercenaries in the Leaf too, like doing secret operations, but also helping out the people. Some don't, some rob people. It's just a whole crazy hierarchy. But pretty much, you remember when I said the ether reactor and like the ether and also the Genova thing? Yeah, since the Genova and the ether is out there, people been harnessing the Genova and ether thing as regularly to create weapons or armor and stuff. So Naruto will get his armor from like that stuff. So we're gonna say as Naruto 10-year-old Naruto, this is where Fugaku pretty much tell Naruto to stand still and pretty much starts to take out Naruto's eyes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, why is he taking out Naruto's eyes? Well, this is where he's basically placing Sharingan in Naruto's eyes. Well, he's basically giving Naruto Sharingan eyes because how can I say Fugaku favors Naruto more than Sasuke, and Sasuke looks up to Naruto because I'm gonna say Naruto's a little bit older than Sasuke, and he basically looks at Naruto as a big brother, and also Itachi as a big brother. He wants to surpass both of them, but Naruto is stronger than Itachi. Just to let y'all know. So, but he mostly wants to surpass Itachi and Naruto, and wants to get approval from his father. But let's go back. Pretty much, this is where Naruto is basically, getting done training and stuff, and his hair is a little bit more longer, and he starts saying, "Well, this is not a weapon for me," in which Itachi says, what do you mean?" Which he says, "It's not quite right. Can we go? Can I go and uh, look and find me some armor and weapons?" Which this is where Fukaku says, "Of course, but make sure to be back for his training." Which Naruto says, "Okay." Now this is where, oh, but I should probably tell you, Naruto do get love and favor from the Uchihas, and he also get love from Fukaku and like unintentional, like they spoil him, that they're spoiling him with love. So Naruto's not gonna go like be like Cypher, go crazy, question his humanity, and then wants to destroy the whole world. He's not gonna do that. So calm down. He's not gonna pull that whole crazy shit. But he is gonna be a little bit like questioning his humanity, sometimes. But other than that, pretty much this is where Naruto is basically going around and he's looking at shops and stuff. And this is where there's a crazy blacksmith woman saying, "Do y'all need armor, weapons created by the created by those two meteors, Ithor?" Which she's basically trying to get people attention. This is where Naruto says, "Huh, you don't say." Which he pretty much goes and says, "I heard that you create weapons and stuff. Can you create this stuff? Can you create me an armor and weapons?" Which she says, "Huh, since you're my first customer, call it for a treat, cause I make you these weapons." Which this is where, as she's creating weapons and stuff, this is where she makes the long katana thing. I forgot the name from it, but pretty much Naruto sees it and he starts to test it out and stuff, and he says, "Huh, amazing." Now this is where also she creates him his armor and the special gloves and stuff, in which he can summon meteors. This is where she starts saying what the armor has and what its physical ability can do. But also, she explains that if he has like ether or Shinova cells, he can summon meteors. Which Naruto says Shinova cells, which she basically says that this suit allows you to summon meteors and shit. Which he says, "Oh wow," which he says, "Huh, okay." And he basically says thank you to her, which she says, "Oh, just make sure to let anyone know about my shop," which Naruto let Fugaku know, and Fugaku pretty much bought her shop and stuff. Basically, the Uchiha owned that place, so now Uchihas will be having weapons and stuff. But other than that, this is where we're gonna do another time skip, and we're gonna have like mm, about like 15-year-old Naruto. Mm, yeah, 15-year-old Naruto. Now, this 15-year-old Naruto is basically doing missions and stuff, and he already has the outfit and stuff, and he's basically just at the Uchiha compound, basically looking into research and stuff, and doing this research. Well, basically looking into research and stuff, and trying to figure out Orochimaru hideout, which he pretty much is like very high intelligent, like electrically intelligent. So he's not dumb. So he pretty much knows figure out like all the locations of where Orochimaru can possibly be at, or Danzo, and basically tell Fugaku that he has possible locations of where they can be at. Which Fugaku sends him, Itachi, and Shisui there. Which Sasuke is not really joining his brother on those missions, but he is basically, you could say, training himself. But the bell test and all that haven't started yet, because we're just gonna say they're in the middle academy. They're in the middle school. We're just gonna say middle school academy, and then you got the high school academy when you're much older and stuff. But pretty much this is where um, Naruto goes into the factory and look around, and he basically sees another person charging at him with attacks. Well, attack him, which this is where Naruto blocks the attacks and stuff with quick ease and stuff, and basically says, "Who is he?" This is where you could say a person basically is covered in robes, not showing himself, basically not showing his face and stuff, just like in all black robes, and then basically form a wing. This is where Naruto is shocked, and he basically gets in a fight scene and says, "Well, should we fight then?" Which this is where you could say your person with the one black wing starts attacking him and stuff, and pretty much is um, attacking Naruto, but Naruto pretty much just dispatch him and defeats him with ease. This is where the person undoes his robe and says, "Huh, you're stronger than a robe. You're the first ever experiment. You're the you're the first experiment. I thought it would be stronger than you." Which this is where Naruto says, "Who are you and what do you mean experiment?" Which he pretty much does robes, and he's just like a ninja, so you don't need to worry about him. He's not gonna be really developed in the early development, but pretty much this is where he explains to Naruto that he was birthed from Genova, and basically he's a monster and all that. Which Naruto says, "A monster." Now this is where the black figure disappears and stuff. Well, flies away, you could say, and pretty much this is where Naruto look around the facility and does the research while Itachi is Shisui basically trying to like figure out where the hell that person went. And this is where, as Naruto's going down and deeper into research, he starts to knows what the hell is he and stuff. And he's not reading the fake research. He's actually reading about the Genova thing, and he realized that he's more like a virus that kills the eco thing. And he begins to fall on his knees and says, am I really a monster?" Which this is where Itachi, well, kind of came a little bit back early and saw that Naruto was around thinking he was a monster, which this is where Itachi takes a knee and says, "You're not a monster, Naruto. If he was, don't you think we wouldn't love you?" Which this is where Naruto looks at Itachi and smiles and says, "Thanks, big brother." Which Itachi smiles and says, "Anytime, little bro." Now, this is where we do a time skip, and Naruto was studying and realized that he can do magic and stuff. And we're gonna say this is the starting point where he's 18 now. Now, this is where he already has his full training max, and he realized that he can do a lot of things, as he can use earth magic, and we're just gonna call it magic because we're gonna say like some ninjas can use magic, but it's only a rarity of ninjas that can use magic. Not all ninjas can use magic because the ether reactor did restore people with magic, but the Genova also restored people with darkness and stuff, and kind of gave out a virus, but it's not that bad. But pretty much this is where Naruto realized he can use all magics. So ice magic, fire magic, earth magic, and so far so forth. And also light and darkness magic. Just just to make him a little bit more broken. Now, light magic, it can do a lot of things. It can also spell things and also heal. And also he realized that he can bring things back in the dead while he was doing the doing his training. He accidentally killed the animal, which he heals the animal back to life, or resurrecting, which he knows he has that. Now, after all that, this is where Naruto basically is. You're gonna stay at the Uchiha compound, and I'm gonna say this is right around Naruto is at the. How can I say this? It's pretty much past the academy and past the test. Now, I would say these couple of years, Naruto has been contacting the Kurama. Well, no, Kurama really been in a coma. We're just gonna say he's been in a coma for this long. Yeah, so he really have been messing with Naruto's chakra, so he pretty much passes. This is where Naruto's basically going home until he sees. Well, yeah, this is where Naruto is going home and stuff, and I'm gonna say this is where he sees the kid. Basically, has a scroll, and he pretty much stops the kid appearing in front of, well, basically walking to him and asking what's he doing. Which this is where the kid basically is saying, "Please don't hurt me," and basically explaining what he had to do and what Mitsuki is basically telling him what to do. This is where Naruto says, "It's okay. Just give me the scroll and I'll make sure you won't get in trouble." Which the kid gives him the scroll and runs away. This is where Naruto gets a little curious and he looks in the scroll. Now he sees a lot of jutsus, but nothing really, gets to him until he sees the multi Shaolin jutsu. Now, of course, this is where he does the hand seals with one hand because he can do one hand seals. He been doing like like I said, he been training like since you could say since his experimental birth. So you could say he been training a lot and he been using one hand like seals. So he can do like jutsus up to one hand. Like fireball, uh like he can do like fireball, like a lot of jutsus. He can also do a shadow clone jutsu with like one hand. Not you trying. He doesn't even need to do a lot of hand seals or none of that. But pretty much, this. Oh, and he has 100% pure chakra control. So, yeah, he's pretty much busted. I should pretty much tell you that he's busted. But this is where he looks at the scroll and he sees only the most chakra jutsu that's in mind. Where he says, I like this. I think I want to do it. Which this is where he does it with his one hand, and he says, neat. Now, this is where, of course, he calls the scroll and pretty much tells one of his clones to send it back to Aruzen. It tells him that he's going to stop Mitsuki. Now, this is where Naruto goes. And I'm going to say he has wings. So he has like the one wing. So he pretty much flies to it and pretty much appears. Now, this is where Naruto is basically looking for Mitsuki and tells Mitsuki comes out with. Mitsuki pretty much comes out basically saying, look like you finally came, you experiment. Which he says, what do you know about my experimentation? And who am I really? Which pretty much this is where Mitsuki doesn't really know about the whole project, but he did know that Naruto is an experiment and he's not Telshin Cherokee. This is where he's trying to psychologically hurt Naruto as he's saying that he's the Nine Tails Cherokee and the Nine Tails Cherokee attacked the Leaf Village all those years ago and all that. Which this is where Naruto's saying, So there's a beast. There's a beast. There's a Nine Tails Cherokee in me. I thank you for telling me. Which he pretty much stabs Mitsuki in the middle of the chest, lifting him up. Which Mitsuki is pretty much holding the blade, and pretty much Naruto just throws him by the side of a tree, and he pretty much dies right there. This is where Naruto pretty much walks away, pretty much saying, so I have a Nine-Tailed Cherokee in me. I gotta tell Fugaku this, Father Fugaku, which this is where he goes back to the Uchiha compound. And this is where, as he's going, this is where it's kind of quiet and dark. And everything is a little bit, you could say, a little bit, you could say in the dark thing. Now, what is happening? Well, the Uchiha massacre is happening right now. This is where Naruto's basically looking around and stuff, and he sees a lot of blood and stuff. This is where he starts being concerned and worried about Sasuke. Now, as he's going, he's pretty much running. This is where Sasuke gets flung out the Uchiha thing, and pretty much Sasuke is pretty much injured, and he's pretty much saying, "Brother, why would you do this?" Which this is where Naruto pretty much run in there after Sasuke get flung out. Actually, no. We're just gonna say blades are clashing, and Sasuke is right now fighting with Itachi, and Itachi's just whooping his ass. This is where Sasuke gets flung, and Itachi's going down for the slash until Naruto comes in and pretty much blocks his blade. Now, of course, this is where Naruto's looking at Itachi and saying, Itachi, what's going on? What happened? Which this is where Sasuke, yells out and says, Itachi massacred the whole Uchiha clan. Which this is where Naruto looks at Itachi and with a serious, deadly look and says, "You killed mother and father." Which this is where Itachi this is where Naruto says, "Why did you do it? Why did you kill them?" Which this is where Itachi looks at pretty much Naruto with a death look and saying, "I just wanted to test out my power if I can kill them all." This is where Naruto gets in a furious rage and he pulls out his blade and saying, "I'm going to kill you now." And he flies. Well, he charges right at uh, Itachi. Now, like I said, Naruto is in a higher different scale of Itachi, so Itachi's gonna have a little bit of he's gonna have a hard time really fighting with Naruto. Now, this is where uh, Naruto is basically fighting with Itachi, and he's basically whooping Itachi's ass. He's basically just whooping him, cutting him up, basically using like fire magic to use big fire explosions and stuff, and he's just whooping his ass. And every time Itachi does do an attack or like a cut at Naruto, Naruto basically just disperses into like a shadow mist thing, or you could say, yeah, kind of into a shadow mist, or just into like crow feathers, like Itachi can do. Which Itachi says, "What again?" This is where he's holding his arm, saying, "Damn." This is where Shisui comes in after Itachi is about to use his Susanoo, his not full Susanoo, but his ribcage Susanoo to fight Naruto, which Naruto backs up and looks at him while he has his. I'm gonna say Naruto has his three Tomoe because Naruto's built different, and he's basically saying, "I'm going to finish this, if you have this power." Which this is where I'm gonna say Itachi about to do a certain move. Which this is where Shisui comes in and shoots a fireball at Itachi, which Itachi used as his perfect getaway and pretty much gets out of there. Now, this is where Naruto's about to go after him until Shisui appears and stops Naruto and saying that you have to be with your brother Sasuke and pretty much comfort him. Which Naruto looks at Sasuke and Sasuke is pretty much crying, upset, furious that Itachi did all this shit, and Shisui saying that we have to help out Sasuke. Now, this is where Sasuke pretty much hugs Naruto, basically crying in tears and stuff, and basically saying that why, just like, and this is where Sasuke goes to the same path of hatred and wants to kill Itachi. Naruto still he wants to kill Itachi, but he wants to know why he did it and then kill Itachi. So his goal is still the same as Sasuke, but he wants to know why he did it. So he wouldn't just kill him for no reason without knowing the reason why he did it. You see, Naruto's smart. He's intelligent, you could say. But other than that, this is where we're gonna do about a week pass, and Shisui still like how can I say this? Like Shisui is not dead because Danzo like basically didn't really how can I say this? Danzo basically still did something, but he basically planted like how can I say he basically planted something on like Fugaku and basically put him under a mind hypnotist. How he did it, we're just gonna say he has a stronger Sharingan. And pretty much uh this word Fugaku was playing in Futaka, which Shisui was about to stop it until Shisui was getting holed up by some ninjas, by Danzo ninjas. And Danzo wasn't going for his eyes. He just wanted to stop Shisui and stuff and basically, just stop him and basically just kill him. Or you could say to stop him and kill him and then take his eyes. So he really didn't snatch Sisui's eyes, but he did poison him. But Sisui didn't lose none of his eyes. Basically after that, this is where Sisui is basically on the ground with one landing on one knee, basically saying that poison Danzo, that poison. Danzo got me with that poison. If I was in full strength, I would have stopped this and got Fugaku under that genjutsu. Which this is where how can I say this? Basically Naruto looks at Shisui and basically goes to Shisui and asks Shisui what really happened and why is he injured. Which this is where Shisui can't really hide nothing from Naruto because Naruto has that that talk determined Naruto, and basically Shisui explains to him what the hell happened, and basically explains that Danzo basically put Fugaku in their Genjutsu and was planning a Hutaka. Well, planning for Fugaku to do a Hutaka, so the Leaf Village can be under attack, and Uchiha can die in the process, and he can take the eyes. This is where he explains that Fugaku poisoned him and was trying to kill him, so Itachi can so he and the rest of the Uchiha clan can die, and Itachi can become a rogue ninja. Which this is where he also explains that Danzo went to Itachi and explained to him that he had to kill the Uchiha clan for the village, to protect the village, because there's no other option, which Itachi was basically just led on. And Itachi gotta protect that Leaf Village. So that's where Naruto basically is mad and saying that he will get Danzo, but right now he has to help Sasuke out. Well, basically help Sasuke out. Now, we're just gonna say after that, about a week passed. Sasuke is the same, but he's basically gonna be the same as original in canon, but he will also have, how can I say? He will also be, he'll be talkative with Naruto, but not with everybody else. He's gonna be like that. So he's gonna be his emo self, but he's gonna just be talking to Naruto and all that. Now, Naruto is ahead of the class. Like he's ahead in the class. Like he will be rookie of the year. Just like you could say Itachi. So basically, yeah. So he's rookie of the year. Sasuke is basically in second of the highest in academy. And I'm gonna say Hinata. And I'm gonna make Soccer dead last so we can make this work. So after all that, this is where all the teams are the same. And Soccer's on the team with Naruto and Sasuke. Now, this is where Naruto's basically reading the book and talking to Sasuke, telling him that he's going to be training. They're going to be starting their training after this, which Sasuke is talking to him and saying, "So we're going to be doing training," which he says, "Yes, I'm going to make you just as make you strong." Which Sasuke looks down and agrees to Sasuke, and basically they're going to start their training after this. Now, this is where original everything happens in canon, except for the pranking of Naruto. Naruto's not doing a pranking on Kakashi because Naruto's not like that, and plus Cypher, he built different and he's just intelligent, so why would Naruto do that? Basically, this is where Kakashi comes in saying he's sorry he's late and stuff, which Naruto says is okay, but pretty much he looks at Kakashi and saying, Kakashi Hatake, the legendary copy ninja. Which this is where Kakashi says, "Oh, you know about me." Which this is where Naruto says, "Yes, some ninjas pray you, some ninjas praise you, while other ninjas hate you. I want to actually have a fight with you and test your power." Which Kakashi says, "Oh, you will be fighting with me tomorrow, though, for the bell test." Which Naruto says, a bell test?" Which he says, "Yeah." Which one of y'all will be sent back to the academy. Which this is where I'm gonna say Sakura and Sasuke shocked. But Naruto's not shocked at all. He's not even scared because he knows he can pass it. But pretty much this is where we're just gonna continue, and this is where Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto is up on the rooftop, and all the Sasuke and Sakura is basically the same. Naruto's is a little bit different as he basically says, I don't know what's my dream really. I don't even know who I am 100%. But I do want to know who am I, and I kind of want to find my past. And I want to find Orochimaru and ask him, who am I? Which, this is where Kakashi gets a wide eye, because Naruto has a goal to basically see Orochimaru and see who the hell is he, because Naruto doesn't know. But this is where um, Kakashi says, "Okay, everybody meet tomorrow for the bell test. Don't eat or you're gonna puke," which they all agree, and they start going. Now Naruto basically told Sasuke when they wake up tomorrow they're going to eat because Kakashi's just going to be late, and Sasuke nods and listens to Naruto what he says, and they basically just continue doing their, how can I say, basically do their training. Now Sasuke pretty much has his two Tamui activated because we're gonna say Naruto been doing that tough training on Sasuke if he wants to get prepared to kill Itachi. So yeah, Naruto also uses clones, which he taught Sasuke how to use clones, but Sasuke can only use like only two clones, and that's it. He can't use like a lot of clones like Naruto. But pretty much this is where, yeah, this is where Naruto tells him to do two clones and basically continue their training. And he says if he runs out of chakra and dies, he will resurrect him because Naruto can do that. Now this is where Sasuke is basically training with Naruto and stuff. And Shisui does watch, but he's in hiding because he pretty much faked his own death, but he's in hiding. But he does come and see Naruto and Sasuke and see how they're doing. But he's in hiding and stuff, and only Lord Hiruzen knows that Shisui is still alive, and he tells Shisui to do the research of where Danzo is at because he doesn't want Naruto to be really looking for him. But this is where Naruto is basically training with Sasuke, and his multi-shot clone, he basically put like himself around Sasuke, and Sasuke pretty much activate his two Tomoe, and his second clone helps him out, and they basically fight all the clones of Naruto, and they're powerful. So Sasuke is getting very strong, and his original self in canon, you could say. But pretty much this is where Naruto is basically on the table, well, basically in the house while his clones are fighting with Sasuke. This is where Naruto's basically doing the research and trying to find where Orochimaru can possibly be at. And he's basically saying he's smart. Every time he has a new location, he changes it every time. Every time I find that location, it always be different, but I think I can get a head start of him. Which this is where he's basically trying to figure out how to be ahead of Orochimaru and find a specific location where he can possibly be at, which he think he found it, which he says, it's right here. Okay. Now, this is where he X out, and this is where Sasuke is pretty much down on the ground, pretty much dead, because I'm gonna say Sasuke died by overusing his chakra, so he dies. And I'm gonna say Sasuke died a lot of times, so Sasuke's not afraid of death. He's not afraid of death because A, he's seen death multiple times, and B, he died multiple times. So he's pretty much he's a walking, living, you could say, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna kill without worrying about death and being afraid of dying. So this is where Naruto brings him back, and Sasuke gets up and says, God, you took longer than usual, which Naruto says, sorry, brother. Sorry, little brother. But it's time to hit the bed, which he says, alright. And he pretty much just says, I'm gonna go take a shower first. Which he pretty much has blood. Like blood. I'm gonna say he has blood. Like pretty much seeping down his lip, but that's pretty much it. Now, the next day comes in, and Naruto and Sasuke is pretty much like already eating their breakfast and stuff and start heading in. This is where Sakura is saying that they're late, which Sasuke and Naruto says, oh, no we're not. Which this is where Sakura says what? Which this is where Kakashi comes in and says, sorry I'm late, which this is where Sakura pretty much keeps quiet. Now, this is where Kakashi explained the bell test and stuff, and one of them will be sent back, which this is where Naruto says, this is about using teamwork. Okay. Which Sasuke begins to say, sorry Sakura, but you're gonna be out. Because Sakura's, we all know she's useless. But pretty much like how can I say this? She's so useless that she makes me want to have makes me want to not make her like, how can I say, she's so useless that she makes Uraraka a better hero than her. Which I gotta say, I probably will be getting crucified in the comments, but let's just fix it. Let's just continue. Pretty much after that, this is where uh they're, you could say Sakura's only like scared, but Sasuke and Naruto's not scared. They know they can do it. This is where Kakashi tells them to scatter. Well, does the 3, 2, 1, and then they all scatter. Now, this is where Naruto creates a clone, and pretty much sends the clone out. Which the clone pretty much says, "Huh, Kakashi, I would like to fight you by myself, just to entertain you for a while." Which, well, he says just to entertain me for a while. Which this is where Kakashi says, "Oh, brother," and this is where Naruto charged with great speed. Well, does a slice, and we're gonna say it's like, think of a single slice, but like an air key thing, and it goes straight forward. It's kind of like that. Well, kind of like an Angie Blade slice, but yeah. This is where Kakashi is wide eyed and he immediately like dodges it, and Naruto flies in with his blade and pretty much goes for the stab. Which this is where Kakashi subjects out of there just in time, and pretty much appears right behind Naruto shooting a fireball, which Naruto uses hmm, I'll say ice magic, and pretty much creates the ice barrier. It says, "Huh, you substitute since time, amazing. Well, let's see you copy this." Which this is where Naruto uses black chaos balls and fires at. Well, he basically summons 3 fire chaos balls, and he snaps his finger, and they appear right behind Kakashi. Which this is where Naruto says, "Don't even think about trying to destroy them, because if you do, they will explode on impact on you. Even if you're trying to substitute or not, they will always reach their target." Which is where Kakashi says, "Oh boy," and he begins to lift up his Sharingan and says, "I guess it's time to get serious." Which Naruto is shocked that he has a Sharingan, saying, "Oh, you're Uchiha?" Which this is where Sasuke sees it too, and this is where Sasuke starts to get angry and let his emotions get him. Which is where Naruto stops him and says, "Calm down, Naruto." I mean, he says, "Calm down, Sasuke. He has a Sharingan probably for a reason. Probably from a dead comrade or something like that. He just didn't come and just take the Uchiha's eye." Which this is where Naruto explains that Kakashi regularly doesn't show his eye because he he'd been taking like a lot of his chakra and doing a build up. Which this is where Sasuke says, "Huh, okay, so what's the plan?" Which this is where Naruto already has his other clone going to Sakura and explaining the whole plan, and he's going to basically have Sakura be the ace. Which Sakura says, "All right." Now, this is where Naruto clone Cypher basically is fighting with Kakashi, and Kakashi is basically having a hard time fighting the clone because that clone, yeah, you could say Naruto is basically just, this clone is just doing the most to him, just doing him dirty. He's violating him. That's how bad it is. This is where Kakashi is basically bleeding from a shoulder after Naruto, you could say, cut it, and Naruto says, "Huh, how should I should I just call it a quits, or should I just defeat you now?" Which this is where Kakashi says, "Don't get too cocky," and he basically forms the lightning blade. And this is where Naruto says, "Oh, a lightning, but it's just me." Which he says, "I call it a lightning blade," which he pretty much create a shadow clone, and he basically holds Naruto. When Naruto clone says, "Oh," which this is where the Naruto clone basically just smiles and basically lets Kakashi hit him. Why? Kakashi's saying, "Why is he smiling?" Which, as he hit the clone basically just dispatched into crows. Well, into feather crows. Which this is where he looks and he says, "It was a it's a it was a substitution. It was a clone." Which this is where Naruto is in front of him, basically right behind him, saying, "You like my clone?" Which Kakashi's saying, "Damn, it was just a clone the whole time, and I'm already out of chakra. I'm almost at the point of out of chakra," which his clone disperse. This is where Sakura basically comes from the ground and grabs Kakashi. While this is where Sasuke basically shoots a fireball at Kakashi. While Kakashi gets hit by the fireball, it gets thrown into a tree. This is where Kakashi can't do anything, and pretty much forgot about Sasuke and Sakura because Naruto's basically being the biggest distraction. This is where he basically looks at them and he's basically smiling, saying, y'all pass. Which, this is where Naruto noticed this was teamwork. And Kakashi does the same speech and stuff. Well, he basically does the same speech, even though he didn't tie no one. But yeah, he does the speech. Now, this is where Naruto is doing little missions with Sasuke and Sakura, but Naruto basically doesn't want Sasuke to be doing these little missions, so he pretty much goes to Lord Hiruzen and pretty much asks for a higher mission. This is where Hiruzen pretty much agrees to that and gives him a B mission. Uh, yeah, actually, no, a C mission. Sorry, guys. A C mission to protect Tazuna. Because we're going to say Tazuna really didn't have the money to afford higher ninjas, but he pretty much just told the truth, and Hiruzen says, alright, he's going to try to find him a low price ninjas. So, pretty much, this is where Naruto team is pretty much in, and Hiruzen, this is where uh, Tazuna looks at the team, and he pretty much says, looks at Naruto first, and he says, and he's pretty much drunk too, and he pretty much looks at Naruto and says, look emo. You look a little bit edgy, which he pretty much sees his hand and he has a little cut. He says, I think you're so edgy that you cut me, which Naruto says, what? That's a little skit I made right there. This is where he looks at Sasuke. He says, "Oh, you a little bit too edgy." And he's like I say, he's drunk. And he looks at Sakura and he says, "Oh, tell me why you do I really going to get protected by this useless trash bag girl?" Which this is where Naruto makes a smile and Sasuke spits out a little bit of laugh. And Kakashi, he knows that she's useless too, so he's like laughing in his head. Which this is where Naruto says, "Please don't call none of my team members useless. We will get you to safety and cross that bridge." Which this is where Tazuna says, "I mean, if you say so." now, Now, this is where they're going and stuff, and Naruto already immediately noticed the puddle. This is where he pretty much touched the ground and says, freeze. And he pretty much frees the whole water thing. Now, when he frees the whole water thing, he pretty much trapped the Demon Brothers, so they can't hop out the ice or anything. They're stuck in there. And they're pretty much, we're going to say suffocating. Just to say Naruto is killing niggas out here. Yeah. I said the N word, but pretty much after that, Naruto basically says, "Alright, we can go now." Which Naruto says, "Why did you freeze it?" Which Naruto says that it was and two ninjas under the water, and they was about to ambush them. Which this is where Kakashi is impressed and saying, amazing." This is where Naruto says, "They're pretty much right now suffocating, but who cares, right?" Which this is where Sasuke, he's not shocked because, like I said, Sasuke knows that Naruto was doing missions with Itachi and them, and they was killing a lot of people and stuff. So Naruto's not a flinch of death or afraid of killing anyone. So yeah, so Sasuke doesn't even have a whole shock, but Kakashi is shocked, and also Sakura and Tazuna that Naruto just killed two ninjas without even flinching or batting an eye. We're gonna continue, and this is where Ooh, this is where we're at the part where they're meeting Zabuza now. As pretty much they see the frog. This is where Naruto noticed that something's not right immediately, and he tells Sasuke and Sakura to get into ready positions, and also tell Itachi, well, not Itachi, Kakashi to get ready. Which Kakashi pretty much says, okay, and they start continuing forward. This is where the blades start flying. And Itachi tells, not Itachi, shit, sorry guys. Kakashi tells everybody to duck. Now, as everybody's ducking, this is where Naruto pretty much smiles and he grabs the blade as is at the right handle and pretty much slam throws it at a far back. Well, pretty much grabs the blade and pretty much holds it and says, "Huh, you can come out now." Which this is where Zabuza says, "Huh, you actually catch my blade. Amazing." Which Naruto says it's not really that much of an ease. Which he pretty much is swinging around, having fun with it. Which Zabuza saying, you must have of course, extremely strong strength." Which Naruto says, "Yeah, I trained my little brother here." Which Sasuke pretty much is a little bit blushing. Not he's not gay for Naruto. He's just like I said, more like a big brother bond, pretty much. So yeah, pretty much this is where Naruto puts Zabuza blade down, and he pretty much throws it back at Zabuza, which Zabuza catches it. Now, this is where this is where Kakashi basically says that he got this, and he basically fights with Zabuza. That's when everything happens as the same as in canon, and he gets caught up. Now, this is where Sasuke and Naruto has to work together to get Kakashi out of there. This is where Naruto says that he handled this. Just watch out for that girl when she comes out and shoot her with a fireball. Which this is where Sasuke says a fireball, which he says, yeah, she's here. Which I'm gonna say Naruto can sense life forms. Life forms. He has a sensory of life forms. So yeah, he can sense life forms there. So basically he tells Sasuke to get ready to shoot her when she goes for attack on him or something like that. Which Sasuke says, "Alright, I got you." Now, this is where Naruto goes in with great speeds. Well, not with speeds. He's pretty much walking slowly, and he basically says, "It's it's pretty sad." Which Zabuza says, "Sad about what?" Which he says that I'm gonna have to kill you. That you're gonna not make it that fat, make it this long. Which this is where Zabuza says, "Huh, try me, kid." And this is where Naruto does a flying attack and swing with his sword. Now, this is where Zabuza is blocking some of the attacks, but he was totally caught off guard a little bit, so he did get multiple cuts on him. This is where Naruto basically flies back, and he basically does a single slash. Puts his blade back like what Cypher doing right now. He does a slash, which the slash creates like an air wind blade charging at Zabuza. This is where Zabuza has to hurry up and immediately does a hand seal and does a water dragging, and pretty much he just bamboozled, bamboozles Zabuza. Bamboozles, he just bamboozles both to the point that Zabuza is breathing heavily of how much chakra he has used, and he's still trying to support himself on the water. That's how bad his chakra is out right now. This is where Zabuza basically is having his blade like down on the water. He's basically saying, "I'm I'm gonna finish you off." Which this is where Naruto looks at him and says, "Are you sure? Are you sure about that?" Which this is where Zabuza just hits the water, and Haku comes in shooting the needles just to make it look like he's dead. And pretty much this is where Naruto basically stops, and Kakashi feels Zabuza's body thing and trying to see if he's dead, and he says he's dead, but Naruto knows he's alive. But he pretty much just lets him go because he really wants him to be alive for Sasuke to get a little bit more training in. But pretty much after that, this is where Kakashi didn't really lose a lot of chakra, so he's basically teaching Sasuke and actually Sakura how to tree walk and water walk and practice on chakra control. So only Sakura is going to do that. But Sasuke and Naruto, they don't need to do that. They're basically training on their own. This is where Naruto creates a clone and basically tells he's going to get a break and basically get some fresh air. While Sasuke says, "All right, he's just gonna go do some chakra control with Sakura and try to talk to her and all that." Which Naruto says okay. This is where Naruto is basically into fresh air stuff, and this is where he meets Haku again. Now, this is a female Haku because why not? Why's not? This is where Haku basically is talking to Naruto, and Naruto basically is talking to her and stuff, which is where Haku basically is showing a ether ether wing. Yeah, it's like Cypher's Black Wing, but it's like an ether wing. But she basically is basically talking about what happened and stuff, and that she's protecting one that she loves. Which this is where Naruto tells her that she should not come to the bridge tomorrow if she values her life. Which Haku pretty much knows. Like Haku asks how did he know, which Naruto says that he never he never forgets a unique being or a ether or thing because he can see ether who has it, and she basically just goes off. Now this is part one of What If Naruto was Cipher. If you like, leave a like, do all that stuff. But I'm Keyshawn Chia. Thanks for watching and peace out.
It looks like you lost another one.